Tonight's news, a deadly toll in the ferry boat fire. The death count climbs. Bodies are still trapped on board. Arson is suspected. Tough-talking Tories. In Alberta, Conservatives cast a vote of confidence in Meech Lake, but only after much debate and disagreement. And a new dimension in medicine. A high-tech 3D scanning machine is giving doctors new perspective and patients new hope.
The CTV National News with Pamela Wallen.
Good evening. That deadly fire on board the Danish ferry Scandinavian Star is finally out, but as many as 150 people have perished. Rescue workers fighting flames and poisonous smoke have now begun the search for bodies trapped on board the vessel. As the smoke clears, police believe the fire was deliberately set, and investigators are now looking for evidence of arson. CTV's Roger Smith has that story.
As police launched the hunt for a suspected arsonist, firemen worked to put out the stubborn blaze so they could get on board to look for clues and more bodies. All the water pumped inside caused the ferry to list dangerously. Holes were blown in the side so much of it could spill out. As the first bodies were lifted off in plastic bags, the death toll was still unclear because of incomplete passenger lists. Children under 7 did not have to register. Some have been found dead. But the search is slowed by a fire so hot, it has melted the gloves and masks of firefighters. As the fire burns through the ship, there are fears that parts of it may have become a giant crematorium, that some bodies may be virtually incinerated. That would further complicate the job of determining exactly how many people died. Investigators are looking for links with other recent fires on Danish ferries. But why did so many die in this one? Survivors complain of no alarm and confusion among the mainly Portuguese and Filipino crew.
When the smoke came on, they didn't see the doors. Where is the door? So, and I didn't hear any alarm.
Some passengers died while sleeping against the rules in their cars. Safety on the ferry was criticized after an earlier fire while it cruised the Caribbean in 1988. The Scandinavian Star is registered in the Bahamas, a tax saving for its Danish owners. But crew unions say such flags of convenience compromise safety.
This, in effect, was a tragedy waiting to happen, and it demands urgent action to combat the worst evils of the flag of convenience system and measures to improve passenger and crew safety.
The tragedy shocked Scandinavia. Its victims mourned at church services across the region.
Tragedies of this kind affect individuals and families, but they also affect entire nations. Therefore, our flag will be at half-mast.
The flags were at half-mast too in Sweden, where the pall over this small fishing port is a reminder of a voyage that went so terribly wrong. Roger Smith, CTV News, Lucashill.
The body of a prisoner was dragged out of England's Dartmoor prison today as a weekend of violence ripped through 7 jails in England and Wales. British officials say the riots were inspired by the week-old rebellion at Strangeways prison in Manchester. The damage to Strangeways is apparently so severe, it's too dangerous for police to roust out the 22 inmates still on the loose inside. There were elections today in 4 different countries, 2 in Eastern Europe, others in Greece and Peru. Hungary has chosen a conservative government in a final round of voting. The Democratic Forum, with more than 100 seats, becomes the country's first freely elected government in 43 years. Voters lined up this morning for the runoff vote that marks the end of communist rule. The first round 2 weeks ago put the Democratic Forum narrowly ahead of the Liberal Alliance of Free Democrats. In today's vote,